We're here today at the National Climate Justice Conference organised by the National Youth Council. The point of today is to bring everyone in the youth work sector together, whether it be young people or youth workers, and for youth workers to feed that information down to the young people that they're working with and see then how we can take concrete steps to work together and collaborate in the future to ensure that we achieve climate justice.
Climate justice is about building a sustainable world that we will live in, that the generations that come after us and after that again will live in. And it's about realising that the way the world is at the moment isn't sustainable.
The things that we have prioritised in society and our indicators of success have actually led us to the situation where we are on the brink. We need to understand what's going on and we need to look to where we can act to change it, because there are huge changes that are no longer reversible.
Bringing that conversation of what is climate justice and how it affects people into the room. The world is in a state at the moment. I think everyone can agree with that one, and it's damaging. How can we bring that to the forefront? How can we get sustainable living for all to the main part of it, with climate action and climate justice being the centre?
Climate justice is a reframing of the climate crisis as a social justice issue itself. For a long time, we've been living in a system that hasn't been working for most people. And what the climate crisis has done is it's finally brought these together to really try to see that, hang on a second, this is not working for the majority of people, so what are we doing?
If you were trying to do something within your community, who are the other players? Who are the other people that might need to be involved? Who might be affected positively or negatively in that decision? How do we shift power? How do we make change happen?
Climate justice is not just about the environment per se, but it's equally about all the social issues that are including in that, whether that's from a political lens, from an environmental lens, from a social lens, and there's so many different aspects to it. And being able to have those conversations, because at the end of the day, you know, the actions that we are creating in the developed world are also impacting the developing world.
The best thing in that sense has been just to learn how involved the youth have been in developing the charter on climate justice, and learning how they see the principles of climate justice and how they want to see those integrated.
That there is a strategy in place for the future, and I think, you know, without that strategy, how are we going to reach those targets? So it's great to see that that's already happening from the ground up, and that can, you know, influence things at COP27, which we've seen over the last while.
So yes, I learned a lot. Like in particular, we got given a map of Ireland, of what 2100 could look like, and literally showed like how half of Ireland would be disappeared, and that really opened up my mind a lot more.
It's given me more knowledge, and I can share it with other people. And like when I go back home to Cork, I can share it with like my co-workers and tell them how like what we did here and how they can hopefully better the environment as well.
I think it's definitely brought me some new perspectives on different aspects of climate justice in relation to youth work. And again, it's really kind of those connections that have been really useful for that.
Part of climate justice is looking at those most marginalised, most excluded from decision making, and ensuring that their voices, whether it be local, grassroots, indigenous, they're all being brought into the space.
Supporting young people that are marginalised in the society to also have a say in how we deal with climate change.
I suppose climate justice is so important because it looks at the climate crisis not just as an issue about environmental sustainability, but it looks at it through a human rights lens, an economic lens, social justice lens, and I suppose it just broadens that whole picture and shows us that we're living in a really interconnected and globalised world where, you know, events on one side of the world can have a massive implication for those on the other side.
Like at the end of the day, the state that we are in, we've created that as man, and we can change that as humans.
I suppose together begin to take small steps and have big ambition for those small steps, but, you know, begin to feel like that this is a conversation for now and for us, not just for other people.
Inspiring.
Connection. Innovative. Inspiring.
Action.
It gave me hope. Hope.